Hi everyone, Bad Raven here, ready to do another great review for you today. This movie is a horror fan's dream. You can't really call yourself a horror fan if you've never seen this movie. Now I can see, it came out in the 80s, well 1982 to be exact, and some people missed it. The reason I'm doing this review, I love the movie. I don't know how I hadn't done a review anyway, but my buddy Aaron had watched my review a couple of videos back of American Werewolf in London. I did the combo review with Streets of Fire, and he said that American Werewolf in London was his first big horror film he'd ever watched as a kid, and I was really young when I watched it. But he said he had just recently, about within the past year, seen The Thing, which is what this review is about. The Thing, 1982 one, not the 2011, the 1982 John Carpenter classic. He had not watched it just a year ago. For the first time he watched it, he said he overlooked it, back in the 80s and never got to see it. Which I can see what he's talking about. Back in when 82, when it came out in 1982, I was young too, and I didn't get to go watch this at the movie theater. This movie came out in 1982, and it's directed by the great John Carpenter. Now, I could say a lot of stuff about this movie because this movie came out because he had made Halloween in 1978, and then he had made The Fog in 1980, both scary movies, and they did really good low budgets, and they made really big lot of money, you know that. In 81, he made Escape from New York, which was very popular too on a low budget. So, Escape from New York was 81. The Thing was in 82. But the Universal gave them a relatively big budget. I think like $35 or $30 million to do this movie, which was a lot back then in the 80s. And they was going to let him do anything they wanted, and this was his kind of pet project, John Carpenter's pet project, and he wanted to do this. He kind of loosely based it on several different things, but one of them being The Thing from Another World in 1951 that he kind of took some parts from, but there was some other things he did too, so that was just one of them. But he had full reign on this one, and he got control, creative control and everything, because he had made so many hits before, so they pretty much gave him what he wanted. And when this movie came out, it came out at a bad time, and I mean by bad time, it came out 2 weeks after E.T., and that was by Universal also, and definitely a different type of alien movie than the happy alien E.T. Then you have the alien from The Thing, and it's definitely a very horror radar twist. So you got a good and a bad alien come out 2 weeks apart. So he had that going against it, and everybody was seeing E.T. and they didn't get to watch it. And then I think after that, Blade Runner came out. So there was a lot of competition during this time when this movie came out, and it didn't do very well at the box office. Plus, it was very gory, and it was really scary movie, and very had a lot of violence in it, and it turned a lot of people off. So even critics didn't give it a good review, and they thought it was overdone with the brutality and the violence and especially the practical effects that they used for the blood and creatures. But as time went on and VHSs were released and stuff like that, more people have discovered this movie. Like I said, with my buddy Aaron, discovered it just a year ago, and that's why I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So this is the spoiler-free part. But I remember seeing previews of this movie at the time on my television. So, but I wanted to go see it, but I didn't even know when it came out. I mean, when E.T. was out, I don't even remember seeing a poster for it. It was because my mom was on E.T. But I remember when back in, I told you about the 80s and the video stores. That's when you got to see movies that you didn't, you kind of wanted to see, but you didn't really get a chance to see. And I remember seeing the box for this movie at the video store, and I'm not for sure if that was the first time I ever watched it with the VHS. It probably was, but it could have been on like a movie channel service because we had the movie channel at one time, and I remember watching the original Alien on that on the actual movie channel. But so I'm kind of mixed up where I first got to see it, but I remember watching it and it scared the baloney out of me. I mean, the thing is a very intense, dark, scary, paranoid-induced movie. It has got everything a horror fan would love in it. You got a very secluded area in the Antarctica. But see, the crew is like in Antarctica. They're like a science crew, and they're doing scientific tests and experiments in Antarctica, where it's snowy and everything, and it's beginning of winter, and they got their first big snow in, and they are there. It's just like 12 of them in this complex, and they are doing all their tests and everything. And I kept getting a rundown of the characters. I've gotten them printed out here. There are 12 characters, of course. And like I said, it's set in Antarctica in 1982. When it comes out, it's when it's set in the time period. And that's your cast. So they're all in this area where it's snowed in Antarctica, and they're pretty much secluded from the rest of the world. They got a helicopter, and Kurt Russell's character McGrady is the pilot, so they can get out and go to different places to pick up stuff if they need supplies. But they're still if somebody needs to rescue them, it's going to be a few days before they can get there, especially for the snowstorm or anything like that, which they have blind out conditions for that stuff too. But anyway, it's a perfect setup for a horror film, and that's one of the reasons I like this movie. When you have a bunch of people isolated and something bad is going to happen, that is a dream of a story for a horror fan. That's the reason Alien did good when it was up in space. They were secluded in space; they couldn't get away from it. I love that type of atmosphere, and it has very, very deep atmosphere. But as I said, they are there in their complex, and not too far away from them is a Norwegian complex where they're doing scientific studies too. But they're a good hour flight away from them, and I don't even think they even know about them at the beginning of the movie. It just so happens that at the beginning of the movie, there's a helicopter from the Norwegian camp chasing a dog, one of the sled dogs, and they're flying over it, and then they're trying to shoot this dog, and nobody understands why. And the dog goes right into the new camp, the Antarctica camp, where the Americans are, and these Norwegians are trying to shoot the dog, and they end up getting shot by the U.S. team because they think they just went crazy because they're speaking another language. They're yelling at them, get away from the dog, and they don't comply, so they shoot one of the Americans in the leg, and then next thing you know, they're dead. But I didn't want to get into a graphic thing here, but they get killed. There's two of them, Norwegians, and they get killed. Well, anyway, the story sets around this dog that comes there, and you find out later on. I'm pretty much trying to keep from being any spoilers here, but something is wrong with the dog. And as the days go by, more and more bad things start happening to the people that's in the American science lab there. And people start getting paranoid because this thing is, they call it a thing because they don't know what it is. And they find out that the Norwegians found and I don't think I'm giving anything away. They found a spaceship and a creature that was frozen in the ice, and somehow this thing got loose, and it can replicate a human being, anything it touches, 100%. You can't tell them from. It has everything that you have. It can reproduce you perfectly and kill you, of course, in the process of reproducing you. So they are all in the camp are very scared because they don't know who's got infected. It's kind of like a virus. You can get it really easy, and they can't figure out who's the thing, and who's not. So you get on a very big journey of trying to figure out by watching the movie who was infected. So that's really cool because, and it is very tense. It builds tension really fast, and when everything starts hitting the fan, you see some very, very unbelievable practical effects. This is back in '82, no CGI whatsoever, and they make all this very, very believable that this creature is there and it's ready to cause havoc and to live and to survive and to get where it's wanting to go. So I mean, you get some very graphic kills. You get to see creatures formed, and it's very believable. And it's, you know, pretty. If you're not used to that kind of stuff, it's going to be kind of hard to take. It was me in the '80s. I don't know. Maybe now that we've seen so much since then, you know, some people won't be as traumatized by it as I was a kid. You know, when I'm watching this movie. But through the whole movie, you're trying to find out whose the thing is and who is infected by the thing and who's not. And it's a roller coaster ride from start to finish. And you will not be disappointed to watch this movie. If you want to sit down on a night that's you want something scary to kind of spook you, this will definitely spook you. You know, if you have any kind of if you're scared of any type of movie like that. But I enjoyed it as a kid. I was kind of really freaked out by the special effects, and I would kind of close my eyes a lot in it. And it took me probably a few times watching it, you know, to watch little pieces at the time because it really traumatized me. But it was a good trauma, and yeah, I really liked it, and I think you will too. So let me show you a couple of ones I got it on here. This is the cover to it. It is The Thing. I love that cover of the face coming out of the big coat, winter coat of that they wear. In the back of it here. This is the HD DVD. I bought it. I don't know why I've not upgraded it to Blu-ray. Fine, but that's one of the copies I got it on. And this one I really, really like is the Laserdisc. The Laserdisc of The Thing. I hope you can see that. I hope I'm not cutting it off anyway. There's the back of it. If you can't see it all, I'm sorry. I apologize. I kind of got a close-up of myself on here. But this is a very, very good artwork. It's very big. That's what I like about Laserdisc. And it really sets off this movie. The blue. This is the widescreen edition. But these are the two versions I've got of it. And I used to have, I think I might have it on DVD, but it's like a copy. You'll really like this movie if you want to go watch horror. If you're wanting to get into horror, you should watch it. But like I said, it is definitely a rough movie to watch. So if you're younger than 17 years old, you might have some sleepless nights after this one because it is very graphic. Body parts, internal organs. I think it's a really good movie. I think I pretty much told you the whole story, but I loved it, and it was one of those movies that every time I watch it, I get something new from it every time because you start paying more attention to different things. And now that you know who the creatures are, you start seeing how they're acting a little different in scenes when you didn't know they were the creature. So you get a little bit out every time you watch it, but I would definitely watch it even if I've told you went through the spoilers. But I love this movie. It's a great horror film, and you can't go wrong with it. And I just want to say thank you for watching, and I'm sorry this took so long. I'll probably have to edit this down majorly, but I appreciate you watching, and remember the Bad Raven is your friend, and we are going to do some more videos for you in coming up. So thank you, and we'll let you go. Bye.